female reproductive system, the histology. Okay. So for the first slide, it will be slide number 73, the ovary. On scanner view, this is the ovary. There are two layers, the cortex and the medulla. You will immediately know the difference between the two because the medulla will contain these stromal cells together with plenty of blood vessels, such as this one. So what is found in the middle of the organ is the ovarian medulla. The outer layer, as you can see, is filled up of the ovarian follicles at different stages. Okay. So these are the follicles at the outer portion of the ovary, also known as the ovarian cortex. The ovary is covered with a capsule that is lined with mesothelial cells. So if you put them on low power, and we can see that it is lined with, it's supposed to be lined with mesothelial cells, that being either a single layer of squamous, cuboidal, or low-collunar cells. But this time, I think this is just cuboidal cells. Okay. So this is the capsule, and immediately underneath the capsule is a layer called tunica albuginea. This is just made up of fibrous tissue. Okay, now we go to the different stages of the ovarian follicle. A follicle is different from the oocyst within the follicle. Okay, so this one, the first stage, is what we call the primordial stage. And the primordial stage is known because of its lining epithelium. So we go to high power. So the primordial follicle is lined with simple squamous epithelium. Okay? So yan na, kitang-kita ninyo. The follicular stage is primordial. It is lined with simple squamous epithelium. Kakagulat. Okay. So within the primordial follicle is this oocyte. Buong yan ha, together with its nucleus. The oocyte is in its primary stage. Remember, primordial follicle, the whole structure. Within it is a primary oocyte. And remember class, all oocytes within the ovary is called primary oocyte. Next stage. As there is follicle stimulating hormone, the follicles increase in size, the follicular cells increase in size, now becoming cuboidal. So hahanap kayo ng cells that are cuboidal. Class. This one, okay? So we can see at low power, no, it's become large. It became larger. The simple squamous becoming now simple cuboidal epithelium. So we call this now the unilaminar primary follicle. And as you can see, class, from this view, there is a pink structure surrounding the primary oocyte and call this the zona pellucida. Okay, so it becomes now simple cuboidal epithelium, which is called unilaminar primary follicle. As there is more FSH being produced, there is an increase in the number of layers of the cuboidal cells, now becoming multi-layered or multi-layered cuboidal cells or stratified cuboidal. This time you call this multilaminar primary follicle. Nilagay ko dyan sa view na yan, sa low power, for you to see the difference between a primordial follicle, a unilaminar primary follicle, and a multilaminar primary follicle. Okay? Class ito, hindi nakita masyado yung nucleus because it's a different cut. Unlike this one, wherein you're able to view the nucleus within. Okay? So if I ask, what is the oocytic stage? It's still primary. This one, oocytic stage, primary pa rin siya. Okay? Next stage. Kabila na. The next stage is called the antral or the secondary follicle. Hindi yan. Hindi. Wait, lasa. Mahirap. Oh, okay. So class ito, medyo, I hope you can appreciate the space that was created between, do you see those white spaces there? Okay. Yan, no? This is from a multilaminar primary follicle. Spaces appear between the granulosa cells. Ayan, may mga small spaces there. We call those spaces antrum. Within each antrum are fluid called liquor folliculi. So if you see small spaces in between the granulosa cells, these are what this stage is called the secondary stage or the antral follicle. So if asked, follicular stage, antral, or secondary stage, stage of the oocyte, what's your answer? Primary pa rin yan. Identify specific structure pointed, the pink one. It's zona pellucida. Very good, Dr. Barderosa. I'm talking to myself. Wala pang lecture. Oh.
Okay, class, your lecture regarding the histology of female reproductive system will be on Monday, 8 a.m. Okay, during laboratory time by Dr. Borlaza.
So, kaya pala wala kayong reaction. Sorry. Sinasabi si Dr. Bravo dito. Wait, kasi nahanapan ko kayo na maganda. Okay. Next stage. Oh, there we go. Okay. Katabi lang pala nito hanap ako. Ganun talaga minsan hanap kayo ng hanap sa iba. Katabi nyo lang pala. Look at the person beside you now. Malay nyo. That will be. Sila na raw maging follicle ng buhay. O, tignan nyo na yung katabi nyo. Yak! Okay. So, ito class, if the spaces coalesce into one large one, like this one, this is already what we call the mature follicle, Graafian follicle, or the mature Graafian follicle. Okay? The same thing, class, there is a primary oocyte within, surrounded by the zona pellucida, and this mound of cells here surrounding this one, the zona pellucida, is called the corona radiata. And this whole structure is attached to the membrana granulosa by means of this cumulus oophorus. This stalk-like structure is called the cumulus oophorus. With the mature Graafian follicle, 3 layers are formed here. So this class, this multi-layered membranous this stratified cuboidal cells, also known as granulosa cells, is what we call as the membrana granulosa. Next layer, nalapit ko naman. So this class is the corona radiata. And if we move further, there are layers that are produced here. So this class is what we call, this portion here is the membrana granulosa. Okay, this is made up of granulosa cells. Next layer, ito class. Ito, yan, yung large, lightly stained cells. Oops. Yan. It's what we call theca interna, producing androstenedione. And immediately, this layer here, made up of stromal cells, is called the theca externa. It doesn't produce anything. Okay, so again, membrana granulosa produces estrogen and progesterone. Theca interna produces androstenedione, and theca externa, these are just supporting cells, okay, or stromal cells. So this stage is what we call the mature Graafian follicle. Okay. After ovulation, so ito class, and the whole structure here, the corona radiata, the zona pellucida, and the primary oocyte, if they will be the ones chosen to ovulate, lalabas yan dito. What will be left of this mature Graafian follicle is, hanap tayong corpus luteum, So that will be the remains of the mature Graafian follicle. Hanap ako, wait. Ito na, no? Ito class, I hope you can appreciate this large structure here. This is what we call corpus luteum. Nakita niyo parang meron pang empty space dito. Okay? So this is what we call a corpus luteum. Kung ano man ang sinisecrete nila, you'll learn in your lecture. And then, after some time, it becomes a scarred tissue. Ito. This scarred tissue now, namutla, kakahintay, no, ng fertilization. Okay, it becomes now what we call the corpus albicans. Alba means white, so this is a scarred white tissue. Okay, so those are the different follicular stages. Last, pag sinabing identify follicular stage, your answer will be primordial or unilaminar primary follicle, or multilaminar primary follicle, or antral follicle, or mature Graafian follicle. Okay? Hindi kasama sa follicular stage ang corpus albicans and the corpus luteum. Okay, next organ is slide number 75. Slide number 75 is the fallopian tube. And the fallopian tube is this. It is made up of 3 layers, okay? So, from within, this is within, outwards, pag ganon, ha? So the space, the white spaces that you see here is the lumen of the fallopian tube. And as you can see, these folded structures here are what we call the mucosa of the fallopian tube. It is indeed folded, no? Highly folded within the lumen. So imagine yung class, dyan dumadaan yung ovulated egg. Okay. So the fallopian tube has 3 layers, namely the mucosa, ito yan, from that point, going here. So lahat yan, mucosa. And then, we have here the tunica muscularis, and then the tunica serosa. Okay? So class, tandaan nyo, wala itong submucosa. So the mucosa is made up of course, again, a lining epithelium and the lamina propria. Okay. The lining epithelium is simple columnar ciliated. And this simple columnar ciliated epithelium is this. Okay? So yan siya. From this class, you cannot see that the columnar cells is an alternate of ciliated and non-ciliated cells. So those cells will be discussed in the lecture. It will suffice for you to know that the mucosa is lined with simple columnar ciliated epithelium. And then we have here tunica muscularis that is made up of smooth muscles arranged ICOL, inner circular, outer longitudinal. And then the tunica serosa is made up of loose connective tissue. I hope by this time you know that these are blood vessels. Okay? Mga merong lumen na yan. Next structure or next organ is slide number 76, the uterus.